Hello, my name is April Sanders, and I am an assistant professor at Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama, and I created the Connect to Learn conference. And I would like to take a minute and tell you a little bit about how that began and what the evolution was leading up to creating that online conference. So in February of 2014, I read an article in the New York Times by Nicholas Kristof, and he wrote in that article about how professors were hiding behind university walls and they were not giving of their knowledge and their skills into the outside world. And sadly, I did agree with some of the argument that he made, but I didn't want that blanket statement about all professors to apply to me. And so I started thinking about how can I move outside of the university walls and what can I contribute to my field and to a need that's out there for my skill set. I believe that there's a tremendous need right now for educational technology professional development. I believe that teachers are being bombarded constantly with mixed signals, and they are being asked to be more engaging, to incorporate 21st century skills, but then they are being given learning in their professional development world that is a bit archaic. It's given a few times a year in a large room with an expert at the front, and no real connections are made after that to last for them. So that started me thinking about how can we empower teachers to find the knowledge that they need and create effective learning communities with each other to keep that learning going. And I started thinking about how does professional development even work? Now, some would argue that they've had life-changing PD and they've gone back to their classrooms and made wonderful changes, and I have as well, and I would agree with that. But where was the connection after that? Sometimes we do keep connections with some experts, but that whole idea of creating a learning community with fellow teachers, I thought was very attractive for a way to really change professional development. Then I attended an ed camp in Madison, Alabama, and they started the morning talking about how we would make connections that day face to face, and then we would be able to foster them in a digital environment afterwards. And that idea became meaningful to me because professional development is not about one day or 1 hour or one experience, but it's more about that lasting impact of learning with each other. Teachers should be lifelong learners, and they're operating in a world that gives them a perfect opportunity to do that. So our world is changing. We have knowledge at our fingertips, and we also can keep those connections in the same way. So I started thinking about how can we make PD more flexible and tailor it to our needs and our schedules, and also keep in mind that teachers don't have large budgets for professional development, nor do they have a lot of days out of the classroom. And so the questions I started thinking about with professional development was, how does this happen? How do we transform a model that we've used for so long? What does it even look like? And where do we begin? And I don't know the answers to those questions, but I did have an idea for one model. And that model was the Connect to Learn conference. And I started using it with my educational technology course. And my students, I asked them to apply, and I put the call out there for other fellow educators to apply. And they were very intrigued with the idea, and I put together an editorial review board so that our pre-service teachers could have the experience of working through what it's like to come up with an idea, plan an idea, have that idea reviewed by other professionals, and then have it included in one place where they could engage with each other and make contact later in a digital environment. So the Connect to Learn conference was born in the fall of 2014. And what we do is we ask for short video presentations about how you have used technology to enhance your instruction. And it's that broad and that vague as far as the call is concerned. And we get a lot of different ideas, which is what we wanted. We typically have about 80 presentations submitted, and we take the very best ones. We don't have a specific number of how many we will choose. The editorial review board is comprised of educators who are seasoned and who use technology in their working environment, and they evaluate and give feedback to the presenters who send in proposals. The goal is for our pre-service teachers to work through this planning presenting so that they can work with colleagues in an effective way, and hopefully then take this out into the world of teaching later and implement something that helps them to stay connected and keep learning. I appreciate the time you took to listen today, and I encourage you to go to C2L Conference.com and take a look and contribute in any way you can. Thank you.